Thanks for joining me. This is Danny, and welcome back to Real Tech Season 3, episode number 12, in which we are going to be doing a whole lot of autocrafting in a big, huge autocrafting factory using tiny pipes, Immersive Engineering, and Create. So let's get started. In this pack, we don't have something like a refined storage system that allows you to just put down a single block and do a bunch of autocrafting with it. We actually have to set up like different types of automation in order to do autocrafting. And we do have the pretty pipe system, which allows us to do machine crafting, basically. And since we have the Create mod, which has these lovely mechanical crafters, and then we also have Immersive Engineering, which has the lovely assembler machines, we're going to set up a whole array of both of those in order to set up autocrafting with pretty pipes. It's going to take up a lot of space, and it's going to require a fair amount of resources. The Create mechanical crafters are made like this. They're not terribly expensive, but they do require some infrastructure in order to run them. The Immersive Engineering ones require a fair amount of iron and steel. And we'll get into the details of like what's required for all these things as we dig into this whole project. But we're going to start out with Create. So you may remember in the last episode, or 2 episodes ago actually, I built this big area down here for us to craft. I still want to do something different with the ceiling here, but this is basically, it's 2 things. It's our sub basement, because this is our basement, and it is also a shed from the outside. That's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, right? See, there's our shed, grass roof shed. So the first thing that I want to do today is to get our Create rotational energy into that factory. Right now, that rotational energy is only being used to generate RF. I'm using Create Crafts and Additions. I'm going to change that. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to set up some wireless redstone in my base, and I'll show you why in a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a tiny redstone transmitter there, because, you know, the tiny redstone transmitters are just like the bigger ones, except that they have a smaller range, and obviously they're much smaller. But the range actually just reaches over there, so this will be good. And then I'm just going to throw a tiny lever next to it. So from here, we'll be able to control what's happening over there, and we'll find out in a second here what it is exactly that we're going to be controlling. So right now I've got that big windmill over there, and all of that rotational energy is being converted into RF. We're going to set it up so that we can switch back and forth. We also have this Create water wheel, this set of 3 Create water wheels that's being used to power some stuff, create stuff in this factory. That's pretty much all being used in there, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. And we're going to steal some of this rotational force, which is coming from the windmill into these gearboxes and then making its way down through the floor into the multiple adjustable chain gear shifts and encased chain drives in order to speed it up. So down here, we're generating 225 FE per tick using 3072 stress units. That's how much that is the total amount that thing is producing, that windmill. So we're producing 3072 stress units, and we're using it all to generate RF. Now, if we just flip this lever, that's going to slow this encased chain drive down, because if you remember how these encased chain drives work, is if you have an adjustable chain gear shift connected to an encased chain drive and you give redstone to it, and it is the source of the power, it's going to double the speed. So we're doubling the speed 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now, if I turn this redstone off, then we're only producing 112 FE per tick, and we're only using 1536 stress units, which is going to give us actually that same amount, 1536 stress units, that we can use in our factory over there across the river. So what I'm also going to do, I've got this vertical gearbox. Okay, I have to go kill that Enderman if I can find it. Ender pearls, you know, they're always nice to have. Okay, it's not worth it though. I'm not going to chase him down. So we've got this vertical gearbox that's just basically taking this vertical shaft that's coming out of this encased drive, and it's making it horizontal so that we can move it over here and get it into this alternator. We can actually hook into this down here too. So if we put a shaft there that's facing in that direction, it's going to be turning there, right? So what I'm going to do instead though is I'm going to put a clutch here. So the clutch works similar to a gear or a shaft, except that we can turn it on and off with the redstone signal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this lever and temporarily put a block here and here. And then I'm going to take two tiny redstone receivers and I'm going to place them here and here. And then actually we have to set the channel. I forgot to do this on the other one. Let's just do channel 41 just because pretty sure nobody else is using channel 41. Nope, nobody else is using channel 41. Okay, so, and then I'm just going to break that block, and then that's just going to be kind of floating there, whatever, that's fine. And then what's going to happen is that's going to give, when channel 41 gets a redstone signal, both the adjustable gear shift and the clutch are going to get a redstone signal, which means that this speed is going to double, and we're going to start producing more RF. And this clutch is going to stop, which means that we're not going to be which means that our factory over there that we're about to connect to is then not going to be using rotational energy. Make sense? I hope so. So we'll do that right now just so that we can kind of see what I'm talking about here. But so we can see right now we are producing 112 RF per tick, or FE per tick, and this shaft is spinning, right? So now if we go back to the base and we flip this little lever, which is now making this channel, which I forgot to put on channel 41. Now making this, I'll put a signal on channel 41. Now if we go back to the factory, or to the power plant, or the mill, I guess we could say, we will see that both of these guys have redstone. They're both glowing. This is now producing 225 FE per tick because the speed has been doubled, because this has a redstone signal. And this is not spinning. So the reason that I want to do this is so that if we want to produce more RF and we're not doing any autocrafting over there, which, you know, that's going to be a periodic thing that we'll be doing, then we can allow this thing to produce more RF when we need it, right? When we want to do autocrafting over there, we can switch this the other way, and then all the create machines over there will be getting rotational energy, and we'll just be producing a little bit less RF. That's the point of that whole thing. So basically I am going to run this across the river. In a previous episode, we did set up autocrafting with the mechanical crafter. You may remember it was a 1x2 recipe and a shapeless crafting recipe. And actually, I'm pretty much going to be using these just for shapeless recipes. I'm going to be using the assembler for the shaped recipes and any recipes that require fluids. And essentially what we've got is a chest where the items get dropped. So in this case, stone and gravel get dropped into this chest to make andesite. And then these pretty pipes, we'll place one in each. And they've got them filtered to make sure that we don't end up with 2 stone or 2 gravel. And then it crafts those, and then puts them in this chest, and then we've got pretty pipes pulling from that chest to pull them back into the system. So you saw that go flying over there. We're basically going to replicate this setup, except a little bit differently. Instead of using pretty pipes over here for the filtering, we're going to use tiny pipes, but we're going to have pretty pipes going in with a crafting module, with whatever it is that the crafting recipe is. And we're going to set up so that we can have multiple crafting recipes for each one of these setups. And we're going to have one setup that's just a 1 recipe. So that would be like changing logs into planks or whatever. And then we're going to have a 2x1. And then we're going to have a 3. And then it's going to output there. So these arrows are showing us the direction of the item flow, as we saw up there. We can use the wrench to move this thing around, but we basically want everything converging at one point. Well, I came up with a more compact way of doing this, and I'm actually going to have all three of these. This is the 1, the 2, and the 3. They're all going to share the same output chest, which we're not going to be able to open, but that should be fine because Pretty Pipes is just going to pull from that right away anyway. And then I've got the gears running through the wall, so we'll just cover that up. Okay, I've added the pipe mess. So we've got Pretty Pipes over here connecting to every one of these chests. And 2 of them are output chests. So this is one output chest. So we're going to add an extraction module. Okay, that seems to be unconfigured. And then we're going to have an extraction module on this one. So anything that ends up in these chests will end up being pulled back to our system, which will tell our system that the autocrafting is done. And then these 3 chests, or 4 chests, I've got separate input chests for the separate types of crafting recipes. So we're going to start with the easiest one. So this is just the 1x1. So whatever gets put in here is just going to get crafted. So we do that, it becomes planks. It goes in here, and then it gets pulled into our system. We saw that happen, right? So all we really have to do for this is just go in here and add our crafting modules. So I made 4 low crafting modules. We'll start with 1, I guess. And that is just going to be spruce log. Spruce log makes 1 spruce log makes 4 spruce planks. And that's it. So now we can craft spruce planks. That is done. So that's, oh, actually, no, it isn't, because now we have to get the planks from here down to here. And in order to do that, we can just, I was thinking I'm going to use tiny pipes for this, except this one I'm not going to because it's so simple. I'm just going to use Pretty Pipes for this one. And then what we'll do, we'll just do this. And then what we have to do is disconnect from here, which doesn't always work when we're in the morphing tool. So I'm going to Shift Q to throw it out of the morphing tool. Do that. And we're going to disconnect that. So that's its own separate network. And all it's doing is extracting from one and inserting into the other. But if we put a spruce log in this chest, it's going to get put in there, get crafted into planks, and then go there. Oh, it's going in this chest, which we don't want it to, but we'll fix that soon. As soon as we put a crafting module on here, right now it's seeing that as just an inventory chest because there's no modules on it. So we'll fix that in a bit. When we give you a spruce plank, you give us a button. A spruce button. So now we have 2 things that we can craft down here. Hooray! So here at our Pretty Pipes terminal, we can select spruce buttons and say, hey, I want 8 of these. And it's going to say we're awaiting 5. So there's 3 here. It's going to send 5 planks downstairs, which by the time we get down there, it'll probably be done, but let's try anyway. Oh, no, it's crafting them. Yay. So we should see it sending buttons back. Yep. Nice. So now if we go back up here, we should see that there's 8 buttons waiting for us. Yes, 8 buttons. Very nice. We'll have a crafting recipe for our little cogwheels, and it'll craft the buttons for us. Yay! So now let's move on to this one. Now this one's a little bit more complicated. They're going to get increasingly complicated as we move along here. The assemblers from Immersive Engineering are going to be a lot simpler to work with, just because you can give them a recipe and they'll just do it for you. But these, we're going to have to do some filtering with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a tiny pipe. I'm going to have to place a block there. I'm going to have a tiny pipe pulling from this chest. And we can just, that is the wrong wrench. Set this to pull. So that big thing tells us that it's pulling. We're actually going to be going down from there. So actually, let me just use an empty hand. And right click. Someday I'm going to make this look prettier, but for now we're going to say we're enabled downward. Now I'm going to get rid of this. Actually, you know what? I can save myself some pipes if I put this right on this corner. So we've got a regular tiny item pipe here. Now I'm going to introduce the tiny item filters. Now it's easier to place these if we just place one down there, because then it creates the entity, the tile entity for us. But what we're going to do with these filtered pipes is we're going to use those to filter stuff, obviously, right? And I'll make sure I click on that. Okay. And then oh, that's going to do the same thing to me. There we go. Okay, so if I shift click, then it's not so bad. All right, then I'm just going to remove these two. And we're going to have both of these outputting to the east, and then they have to connect to each other too. So open that connection, close that one. Close that one. I suppose I could have just done this all in the GUI. East enabled. East enabled. Okay, so these are the filter pipes, the tiny filter pipes. If we click on them, we get a filter. We can switch it to whitelist or blacklist. I think I'm going to start with a blacklist. It's probably going to be easier to manage it as a blacklist. Then we don't have to add something to this for every single recipe that we set up. We'll only have to do that for recipes where we have the potential of things getting put in the wrong slot. Okay, so now we can start setting up autocrafting for two things. Now in this case, we already have this andesite thing. And all I really want to do is say we don't want to put stone in this one. It doesn't matter which one we do. So blacklist stone, and then over here we're going to blacklist gravel. It's a shapeless recipe, so it doesn't matter which one is stone and which one is gravel, as long as they aren't both stone and gravel. So now, put those in there. They should end up in different slots. Okay, yeah, that's one thing I forgot about these filters. These filters will not allow anything through them, so you can put them in the middle of your pipe network to like direct which way things are going to go. So yeah, we're going to have to set this up a little bit differently. Okay, so we're pulling from the chest. We're going through this pipe, which isn't connecting to anything but other pipes, into this filter pipe and this filter pipe. This filter pipe goes into this mechanical crafter, and it is blacklisting stone. This filter pipe goes into this mechanical crafter, and it is blacklisting gravel. Okay, so if we put these in here, ta-da, yay! Okay, that works. Nice. So we just crafted some andesite, and now I'm basically going to do the same thing for this and this. It's just going to be a little bit more complicated. Our filters are going to be a little bit more complicated, probably depending on, you know, the recipes that we use. Yeah, I should have worked harder to find that Enderman, because I'm making another item terminal so that I'm not having to run up and down all the time actually making a crafting terminal, which, you know, that's the easy part. Just because I'd like one down in the factory. It would be nice. It was like 3 ender pearls, something like 3 or 4 diamonds. So I've got these all set up. This is the 3 item unshaped recipes. I guess we could do shaped recipes too if they happen to be in that shape. Of course, it would have been better if I did 3. Maybe I should move this, because there's a lot more 3 recipes that are in a row, you know, like slab recipes and paper and stuff like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that there. And then this is the 2x2. Right now the filters are all empty. In fact, I should just make them empty blacklists, because that will allow everything through. And now we're ready to start setting up our crafting recipes. Hooray! Yay! Nice. Okay, so I moved these so that they are horizontal, and they're all moving into that last one, which is going into a hopper, which is going down into this chest, which has the extraction module. I end up using stone slabs a lot because of pretty pipes. It uses them for the modules. 3 stone gets us 6 slabs. So now if we go into our system, and now we're close, so we'll be able to watch this, and we look up stone, we should see we now have the option to make stone slabs. And I don't think we have any in inventory, so let's say we want 12. Let's just push it a little bit and see. It should put 6. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Oh no, I screwed up my gears. What I'm gonna do, because we've got this shaft here, rather than using a whole bunch of different gearboxes, I'm just gonna put a shaft or a cog there, another cog there, and then we're gonna connect that cog here, and then we're gonna use a kelp belt or a mechanical belt to connect there, and then we're just gonna hide that. Never need to see that anymore. I guess I can't hide that back there now. But anyway, this works now. So everything is turning again because this cogwheel is turning all of these. It's also turning these, which is turning that cogwheel, which is going into this gearbox, which is turning that cogwheel, which is turning these. So everything is in motion. So now let's try this again. So stone, I want, let's say 12 stone slabs. Sending 12 stone slabs. Okay, so put them in there. It's crafting them. It should end up going into that hopper. And then, yep, and then we just saw that one go back into our system. Nice. Nice. Yay. Okay, it's sending them all. What is going on? It should be sending them upstairs. I don't know why. They're coming back. Oh, they're coming back. Okay, I get it. So it sent him upstairs into the storage area. And then this guy was like, okay, I want those. So then it brought him back down. And now they're here. 12 stone slabs. Nice. All right, so finally I'm going to set up a 4x4 recipe. Or I'm sorry, a 2x2 recipe. So this is our input chest. I am going to re-enable this. Oops. And then we're going to set this low crafting module in here, and we're going to say when we give you 4 stone, we're going to expect 4 stone bricks. So now let's just throw all this stuff in there. Ooh, you know what? I would almost rather do cobblestone bricks because I use those a lot. Let's do that. Let's do cobblestone bricks. I give you 4 cobblestone and you give us 4 cobblestone bricks. And let's see what we got in our system now. So we have 34 cobblestone bricks. If we request 38, whatever, or 35. Actually, let's do 39, 40, whatever. So then it'll do 2 sets for us, just so that we can make sure that's working. So it's going to give us those 34 that are in the system, and then it's going to say awaiting 6, but it's actually going to make 8. Pump, 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 pump. Yes. Ooh, look how fast it is. Nice. I can actually make it faster too. We're not even using all of our stuff. So now it's going to send them upstairs into the storage area. And then it's going to bring them back down and put them in here. Nice. So it's going to give us 40, and then the other 2 are still going to sit here in the system because we only requested 40. Nice. So now we're going to start getting into immersive engineering. Before we do the assemblers, I actually want to set up the metal press because I have to make plates all the time, metal plates. And yeah, normally you have to craft them with the hammer and it gets to be a pain. I had a metal press set up over in the factory. I tore it down. These, actually, let me clean it. I can clean up my inventory so easily now because this is down here. We need the steel scaffolding, a couple. We need a piston. We need a heavy engineering block, a redstone engineering block, a couple conveyor belts, and then power. And ta-da! 3 steel plates, the wiring cutters, and the engineer's blueprint for metal press molds. There we go. Don't know why I had to click that twice, but there we have it. So we have a metal press mold. So now if we go down to our metal press, oh, we do have to give it power. That's right. We can right click there. And now that is installed. We'll have to test this, but I think that we can just set up a pipe there and it'll insert into that. I don't know about this end. I don't know if that would work. pretty sure it isn't going to work. So we're probably gonna have to put a chest here and then have Pretty Pipe extract from it. Okay, so I got the crafting module in here. Piece of iron gets its iron plate. We're outputting into this chest, and we have an extraction module. So now we should find that we have a tiny plate, or we have a iron plate in here. And let's say we want 3, because we already have 1. So actually, I'm going to say we want 4, because I just put that one in there. I probably shouldn't have. Okay, so it says we have 1. We're asking for 4. Request. We're waiting 3. I hope this works. Oh, so far so good. Yes. Yes. I just saw that get thrown back there. Interesting. It waits till it gets that one and before it sends the next one. Cool. So now if we look in here, we've got our 4 iron plates. Awesome. I'm ready to set up the assemblers. The assemblers are a bit more expensive. It's a large multi-block machine that looks like this. It's a 3x3 by 3 or 4, I think, something like that. According to my calculations, I could cram about 20 of them in here. It'd be very expensive to do that, but I may end up doing it eventually over time. Each one of them allows us to do 3 recipes. The beauty of the assembler is that it can craft with fluids. So the first recipe that I'm going to set up is actually going to be for treated wood, because this is something that I craft a lot, and it's kind of a pain to have to be filling up those buckets all the time. Although you can use the jerry cans and do 10 at a time. But it'd be really nice to have autocrafting set up for this. So the assembler has a big tank in it, and you fill that tank up with whatever fluid, and it'll let you craft with it. This pipe is actually coming in from our big tank out there of creosote oil. So we'll be able, anything that requires creosote oil to craft, we can craft there. So all the stuff that we need for the assembler is on this bottom row here, and then we might want some fluid pipes. But this is basically the things that we need. It ends up costing us about, well, precisely 4.5 steel per assembler, although it ends up kind of costing more than that if you're just making 1, because of course you make the scaffolding 6 at a time. 2 redstone engineering blocks, and it's about almost a half a stack of iron, about 24 iron or so, and then a few pieces of redstone, a little bit of copper, and some leather for the conveyor belts. So let's just put all that in the inventory. And we should get a green line after this. Hooray! All right, and then we'll just set this back to selection mode. Get our hammer. And then we're going to right-click on the conveyor belt that we want to be the input side. So I'm going to do this side as the input side. And ta-da, there we have it. So I ended up moving it over to kind of squeeze it in here, because I'm going to want to fit a lot of these in here. I've got the pipes coming in from our creosote thing. So this thing is now full of creosote. We've got 8 buckets of creosote in there. And we can set up the recipe that basically, actually, we can use JEI and say treated wood. Okay, so I'm actually going to change those to spruce, though. There. So now all we really have to do is give this guy 8 spruce, and it's going to make treated wood for us. And you saw it just got sent back to our system because it went in this chest, the output chest, and I've got an extraction module on this thing, so it's then going to pull those out. But now we have to tell our Pretty Pipe system how to make treated wood planks. So I've got we can put a low crafting module in here and do basically the same thing. For 8 spruce, we get 8 treated wood planks, and Pretty Pipes doesn't even have to know about the creosote oil, because that is unimportant to the Pretty Pipes. Okay, so now we can say, give me, we'll just say 9 treated wood. It's going to make 2 sets, so it's going to end up sending 16 planks in here, and they popped out almost instantly. So it's using the creosote oil to craft it, and then it's pulling more from the tank over there, and you can see that it's sending them in here. So this guy's going to end up with 9 more. So now we have 23, and if we look in here, we'll see that the 7 remaining ended up in the system. Nice. So we can set up any crafting recipes in these. We're going to have to use the high crafting module if we have recipes that require more than 8 different types of items, because that is the one that has 8 slots. Actually, 9 slots. I'm sorry, 9 slots. And then the medium crafting module, I think, has like 4. I think we're using that over here. Or here. Yeah, medium. That one has 4 and 2 output slots. So I'm good to go. I'm just going to repeat this process multiple times. I'm going to build a bunch of these assemblers down here. And I'm going to use the assemblers to craft the ingredients that I need for the assemblers. Oh, well, hello. Ooh, another ender pearl. Wow, I'm getting lucky. I've almost made back the ender pearls I've used today. So I added water. I've got a pump over there pulling an infinite water supply. So we're full of water here now too. And now we can make concrete. This is another recipe that requires a bucket, which is kind of a pain to make. So I am not going to have to make that anymore. And it's basically just 4 slag, 2 gravel, and 2 clay balls. And that gets us 12 concrete. I already have a bunch of concrete in the system, but I may be using more, a lot more. So let's say we want 40 concrete. Or actually, you know what? Let me throw that back in there just to make this easy. Let's say we want a stack of concrete. Awaiting 13 concrete. You know what's really nice about this is when you use the crafting terminal and you request the items, in this case, I'm making a fluid pump, it requested the iron plates for me. Like, it automatically does the auto crafting. Like, you don't even have to go in and say, hey, auto craft this for me. You just set up the recipe and say, hey, give me my items, and it'll auto craft them if it needs to. So is that done already? I think it's done already. Oh my gosh, it's done already. 64 concrete. Awesome. So I might actually be using concrete for this ceiling, maybe? I don't know. Maybe something else. We'll see. I'm going to speed this thing up a little bit. So remember when it was only sending down one at a time? It's because the metal press will only accept one item at a time, and it won't accept the next item until that one has passed through and it's finished. And then Pretty Pipe says, oh, I can put something in there now. So it requests it from upstairs and then sends it down here. So there's kind of a lag in between the two, in between the items being created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm just going to put a hopper there for now. And I'll put a block on top of it just to prevent lag, because, hoppers. Maybe I'll put a prettier block there at some point. But then I can just put that crafting module down here. This is the crafting module that says an iron ingot gets us an iron plate. So now if we request, like, say 8 iron plates, it's going to end up being a lot faster. Yeah, look at that. That's way faster. Nice. Because they're all just sitting here waiting in the hopper now. So Pretty Pipes isn't waiting to place them in there. Nice. By the way, there is JEI support in these crafting modules. So we can go into JEI when we have this crafting module open and do that. And then we can remove that because we don't need the water bucket, but yeah. Hooray! Oh man, this is nice. I just set up a recipe for crafting modules, and it's crafting everything for me. It's so nice. I got a couple more assemblers set up, so right now I can make 12 recipes, plus all the recipes that I can make over here. And I'm going to continue expanding this as we go, so like I basically set it up so that we have the crafting modules going into the inputs on opposite ends, and then they're both going into this chest, so that way I only had to do one extraction chest. Save some space and save myself the cost of the extraction modules. But I'm actually going to have them have a row of them over here, and they're gonna be pretty compact. And then I might actually have 4 rows of these all together. Well, I set up one more thing. I swear this is the last thing I'm gonna do today. I already did it, but I set up a metal press for wires, because those are a pain to craft. So we don't have to go through that process of first making the plates and then getting the wire cutter and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's going to be nice. So like all of my really annoying crafting is being done right now. And then as time goes on, I'm just making things more and more convenient. I added the sheet metal in there, which is really nice because like also I've got the plates in here, the blank modules for pretty pipes, and all I have to do, so if I want to make another crafting module, I can bring it up in JEI and go like this and request, and it's going to make that blank module for me. So it brings all the ingredients in, and now it's just awaiting the one blank module. And if I click request several times to do more, it'll just make more blank modules for me. And there we have a crafting module, just like that. This is going to be so nice. By the way, check out my new backpack. I don't know why I didn't make one of these sooner. This is from the Backpacked mod, and it's made like so in this pack. I think normally it's made with rabbit hide, but I changed these recipes. There are multiple backpacks because we also have the Backpacker mod, which is an add-on to this pack, or is an add-on to the Backpacked mod. And I changed the recipes so that they're all nested, so that you can upgrade your backpack by surrounding it with rabbit hide. That'll give you one that's the size of, I think it's 18 slots. And then the shulker pack is the size of a chest, but it's the upgrade from the rucksack. And then that you can upgrade with netherite to the netherite pack, which I believe is the size of a double chest. But you can access it by hitting the B key, and then you have your inventory and the backpack, and this one holds 9 slots. It's very nice, very convenient. I'm going to be doing a stream in the coming week. The next edited episode is going to be highlights from that stream, which is going to be a rail building stream. So I'm going to be building, I've talked about this before, but I'm basically going to be extending the rail network that I started, but doesn't go anywhere. It just goes to the middle of nowhere right now. And I'm going to be taking that out to a place where I found some beryl, which is, here it is, which is basically lapis. We're about halfway there. So I should be able to finish that in one stream. And then we're going to set up the excavator out there. And then I'm going to have lapis. I have no lapis. I have no lapis in this world. I don't know what happened, world gen problem or something or whatever, but yeah, I'm having so much trouble getting lapis. So once we get that set up, I'm going to have all the lapis that I will ever need. So we're going to set up a little bit of power thing out there. We're going to set up an excavator, because I'm not obviously going to be running power all the way from here to out there. So we'll set up a little power system out there and have a little train station. And it's right on the edge of this beautiful cliff that's overlooking, it's up on a highlands. Yeah, it's a highlands. And it's overlooking a redwood forest and like this little lake and stuff. So it's actually a really nice area, and we're going to do a little bit of building there and make a little nice fun little thing. But much of the stream is going to be spent just building the rail out there, because that's going to be very, very time consuming. I will be scheduling the stream in advance. So if you keep an eye on my channel page, you should be able to see several days in advance that there's going to be a stream scheduled in the future. Chances are it is going to be on a Saturday. I hope you join me for that, because that should be fun. So if you have any questions, comments, ideas, or whatever, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, maybe even check out our Discord server to come and chat about stuff. And join me next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.